Scott asked me some questions. I know I said this about 100 times, but for those of you who may be new to the game or the show, I pay Scott out to be a jerk with me. That's what happens. I pay him. Hang on a minute. Let me get this shadow off of me here, or try to. Anyway, when I did the show on, I think we recorded it on Tuesday, because Monday was a holiday. I was just, I was so angry. I don't think I've ever been that angry. And and then yesterday I was down in Orange County, doing an event for Orange County Republican Women's Group, and those are those kind of things I've done an awful lot of. But there was something about it yesterday. I think it was the mood of the house, the audience, but they wanted to talk impeachment, and I did probably an hour and 15 minutes without a single note. And I just went down the list, and I honestly don't think I've ever been better. I was just so much of performing, because that's what it is. Although many people asked, where does all this stuff come from? And it's like, I don't know. It's not mine. It's I certainly didn't come up with this conservatism idea, and I didn't write the Constitution. I just kind of reporting on what I see. But it was just absolutely great. And when you're doing that kind of performance, anybody who's ever been on stage, either a musician or an actor or whatever the case may be, will tell you that your performance depends so much on the audience. It is absolutely a feedback loop, where the energy of the audience is being reflected back to the performer. And I've seen great shows just go absolutely flat because the audience was kind of, just kind of not full of energy. And then I had this experience in everything from speaking events to acting on stage. The twice I've acted on stage, and then even in planetarium shows. Dave Big Booty in the comment section just wrote it's the work of the Holy Spirit, Bill. I doubt it. Not that I don't believe in it. I just imagine that the Holy Spirit's got better things to do. But in any event, it is. Yeah. I will say this. I caught religion yesterday, boy. I was just on fire and funny. And it's great because a loose crowd, a fun crowd, will loosen you up a lot too. And when people are generally laughing when you want them to, you'll just take shots, and it just gets better and better. I know it sounds bragging. I'm supposed to get an audio transcript of it. Didn't tape it, but it was fun. And the reason it was fun is because everybody is as pissed off as I have ever seen them, and I certainly am. And it's gotten better today because I'm watching their testimony fall apart. I just, wow. The name's flown right out of my mind. It's who's the guy from Ohio who tore him up? The great thing about asking questions here is I ask questions of the void, and then about 8 seconds later I get the answers. Jim, was it Jim? Jim, somebody's going to tell me in just a second. Let's see here. Come on, Jim Jordan. Thank you very much. Here, come now. I'll get 9 of them. Thanks, Jim Jordan. He was great. Jim Jordan. I saw there's a channel that I discovered, a YouTube channel I discovered during the Kavanaugh hearings in Blasey Ford, and it's a woman who obviously is pretty conservative. She's a psychologist and she's a body language specialist, and she analyzes videotape and just talks about body language and stuff, and she was talking about the difference in body language between Jim Jordan and Ambassador Turner, and I mean, it was, that's how I saw the clip, and Jim was just like, I made a point of mentioning this yesterday at the speaking event. If you look at the body language, is it before I saw the clip analyzing the body language? But if you look at the just the temperament and the confidence of Jim Jordan and we'll say Trey Gowdy versus the duplicity of Hillary Clinton or this Ambassador Turner or Schiff, you can just it's just so obvious who's got the bone of truth in their mouth, you know? Oh, yeah, you did this, and this. Yes, yeah, friendly face. Just chewed him up. It chewed him up. And the high point of the high point was when he said, you just admitted 3 times that under 3 meetings or whatever, there was no quid pro quo, no coercion, nothing like that, right? Well, yeah. And you're their star witness. That was absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. So I loved it, and I think it is going to just disintegrate. And think about this. So Martin Archer found him. I guess it's Body Language Ghost. Yeah, she's really, really cool. I like her very much. I like her attitude, and I like the comments. You take care out there, Dave Big Booty. Anyway, you know, this could end up being the very best thing that could have happened. It's starting to look that way now, because I've never seen such a fired up crowd. I've never seen people so angry and so ready to get out there and vote for Donald Trump. I mean, you know, I was saying things like, go ahead and impeach him. I think the chance of that is 0. But if the Senate just buckles, even if he gets to the Senate, then we'll elect him over your removal from office. We'll just re-elect him. Anyway, what was the name of the video that made you a fan of I Know a Place? Oh boy, it is Animato. It's called. Animato is by a guy who made a movie called The Wizard of Space and Time. Once again, my memory fails me here. It'll come up in just a second. He was like the very first guy who was doing this kind of very, very hip kind of cool special effects. I want to say his name was Jeff or Jim or something. But it'll be here in 2-3 seconds now. But I saw him do this stop motion animation called The Wizard of Space and Time, and a bunch of my friends were doing that in high school. And I never particularly liked that, but they loved it. You just go out all day and you sit there on the grass with a single shutter on your TV, on your movie camera rather, and you would just click, and then everybody would move. And then everybody'd move like a half an inch, and then click, and then everybody'd move half an inch. And if you wanted to raise an arm, you had to do that over the course of 20 or 30 different positions. It wasn't for me, but they did some fun stuff, and they got to be very good at it. Mike Jitlove, thank you very much, Cheryl. Mike Jitlow, he is an absolute genius. I mean, he really was. He just really inspired me. I saw The Wizard of Space and Time, Speed and Time. I keep saying Space and Time. The Wizard of Speed and Time I saw at the same time as I saw Animato, and I saw it on 16 millimeter film because this must have been 78 or maybe even earlier than that, somewhere around there. We were at a production house in Miami called Magic Lantern. That's all I remember about the place, special effects house, and we were checking in on something. And these guys said, you got to see this. So they teed up Wizard of Speed and Time, and it blew my mind. And then they ran Animato, and I was just like, oh my God. Now, if you look at it now, it's not much to see because so much of what he was doing is cutting edge, but he did it all physically. I mean, in Photoshop, you click a button, you just take the background out. Mike had to Photoshop. I mean, he had to print everything, cut it out, animate it bit by bit as cell animation, and it was absolutely unbelievably great. and that's where I first heard "I Know a Place," and it went into the back of my mind along with my impression of that particular song in that movie, and it was just fantastic. Well, anyway, okay, so let's see what's going on here. It's a Friday night, and I don't want to keep any of you too far from your cocaine parties. So let's see what's going on out in the world of the Facebook question thingy me doody mabob.